Thanks for tuning back in. I'm Tommy Campbell, still bald, still in my basement, and still feeling for the people that were trying to enjoy the eclipse only to get totally ruined by one of the roaming reporters shoving a bright camera light in their face. I mean, come on. Ted Cruz is in hot water again, and this time it's not with Lauren Boebert in a jacuzzi at the Fairfield Inn and Suites by Marriott Denver Airport or a winter break dip in the waters off Cancun with the wife Trump called a dog. Government watchdogs and Citizens United and the Campaign Legal Center accused Ted Cruz of violating federal campaign finance laws by directing ad revenue from his podcast to a super PAC. I'll be having a laugh getting into the trouble stemming from Cruz's piggy bank verdict podcast and more, but first this.
Something, you pathetic people in the media, you pathetic Democrats all over the country, you haven't canceled it at all. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting here driving in the car for hours and hours signing books. You want to know why I'm signing books? Because I'm selling books. I'm selling them. And you can get a copy of this book at mtgbook.com. This is the book that the left does not want you to read. Because you want to know something? Why? It's my words. They can't change the words in this book. These are my words. They can lie to you on television about what my words are, but they can't lie about the words in this book. So what are they trying to do? They're trying to cancel my book signing events, and they're lying about me nationally, and it's pathetic and it's disgusting.
Pathetic and disgusting. Look in the mirror, sweetheart. Yeah, those large numbers for the books. Good one. Marjorie Dog the Bounty Hunter Taylor Greene is promoting her worst-selling book, published by Don Jr.'s company and printed in Canada. Hey, when you're done with that cardboard box, be sure to save it for Mike Lindell. It should come as no shock that the anti-masker is also against buckling up, and as much as many are cheering on a crash, think of the innocent driver that would be subject to the blonde meat swamp at high speed. Seatbelts aren't just for you, they're for the safety of those around you. And since we're talking Dog the Bounty Hunter, please buckle your canine for you and your pet's life. It blows my mind that people don't do this. If you have a 10-pound dog in the car and you're traveling 50 miles per hour, that pooch can crank out 500 pounds of force. And odds are your dog is bigger than a tenner. According to a AAA survey, 29% of drivers admitted to being distracted by their pet while driving, and 65% stated they have allowed their pet to sit on their lap or have fed or played with their pet while driving. It's pretty wild to see MTG like this, and that her assistants didn't even have the brains to encourage her to click it before they hit action on this promo. But I guess they're just relieved she's wearing foot coverings and called it a day. The socks stay on. It is pouring MAGA Tears. I played in 35 countries for over 2 decades, but most days you'll find me here. Thanks for taking in this bald comedian's take on things. Please join the best subscribers on YouTube while I blast the latest and stupid and more.
The eclipse was terrific. You know, I raw-dogged the last eclipse. It hurt, but I don't believe in protection. And if you don't believe me, there's a lot of evidence called Tiffany Eric Barron and the sores Ronnie Jackson treated. Oh, it burns.
This is really cool.
I believe it'll be a year like in May, because I've been so busy out there. We've been taking care of elections, and I've been dealing with attacks on my pillow, everybody. So
I still don't understand why Mike Lindell makes his videos in the hallway at the entrance to his large home. To be fair, it's a step up from his car outside one of his abandoned warehouses. But you'd think that his new wife would allow him to use one room, just one room in his mansion. Just designate one room as the safe space for dollar store Burt Reynolds to finish destroying what's left of his company. One room.
all these $25 products on sale. We'll talk about that halfway. Use 77. Patrick, what do you got? It's a short opening.
No, that's okay. I mean, what I was really trying to do is highlight all the times that you have been right over the target for everybody, and I want to make sure that everybody understands it, because sometimes we get lost, trying to track from story to story to story.
But you can see the lies that were told across our country, and then you can also watch the Democrats all saying, get rid of these machines. They're all that they are connecting at, and South Carolina, right in front of the whole world.
You know, I thought they were going to sort out the technical problems, but they haven't. And you have Lindell plugging in his phone while his temporary co-host Patrick hopes he doesn't get brought on full time. Even though Lindell and Brandon broke up, Lindell's still breaking up. And Mike, across is still not a real word. Across the universe, not a Beatles song. End Citizens United and the Campaign Legal Center accused Ted Cruz of violating federal campaign finance laws by directing ad revenue from his podcast to a super PAC. The Calgary, Alberta-born senator insists he doesn't get paid to host his podcast that he releases 3 days a week. iHeartMedia, formerly known as Clear Channel, iHeartMedia owns heaps of news talk stations with syndicated hosts and programs including Sean Hannity, Glenn Beck, Mark Levin, and it was Clear Channel that inked the $400 million deal with Rush Limbaugh, just in case you're unsure which way they leaned. Fortunately, they aren't lobbyists. What's that? iHeartRadio is a registered lobbyist? They spent $3.3 million in 2023 alone? The Honest Leadership and Open Government Act of 2007 bars lawmakers from knowingly accepting a gift from a registered lobbyist. According to Senate rules, services can qualify as gifts. Campaign spokesperson Macarena Martinez, I'm not making that name up, pushed back saying Senator Cruz appears on Verdict 3 times a week for free. He does this to pull back the veil on the corrupt inner workings of Washington, none of which ever get fairly covered. The Truth Encouraged Super PAC received over $600,000 from iHeartMedia, and according to End Citizens United and the Campaign Legal Center, iHeart's payments to Truth Encouraged PAC violate campaign finance laws since federal candidates or people working on their behalf are prohibited from soliciting, receiving, directing, transferring, or spending funds if they fail to comply with contribution limits, source prohibitions, and reporting requirements. Soft money. Super PACs are allowed to accept unlimited contributions and can take money from corporations. Campaigns for federal offices, however, can't accept more than $5,000 per election, nor can they take any donations from corporations. As a result, candidates are not allowed to coordinate with super PACs. Now, after news broke that the PAC supporting Cruz was getting money tied to ad revenue, oil giant BP pulled their advertising. For anyone calling this a nothing burger, when was the last time you saw an oil company worry about ethics? Like, when it's too greasy for the Deepwater Horizon folks, you know it's serious. Ted Cruz's leadership PAC, Jobs, Freedom, and Security PAC, are the producers of Ted's podcast, Verdict. The iHeartMedia subsidiary, Premier Networks, publishes the show, and the ad revenue is paid to the Truth Encouraged PAC. And the Truth Encouraged PAC's focus is ensuring that Ted Cruz is reelected to the United States Senate in 2024. During his 2018 reelection campaign, Senator Cruz was outspent by a staggering $33.5 million. It is no secret that national far-left activists and D.C. special interest groups will be coming for Cruz again. Our independent expenditure effort will close the gap on the onslaught against Cruz and complement the Cruz campaign's efforts with substantial grassroots field support, direct advertising to voters, and a robust communications operation. In nearly every interview with Cruz, you see him plug his podcast. The one he's not making any money from, but the PAC supporting him is, and they're using that money to keep him in power so he can have a salary.
Here's what I predict, and this is something I said last week on my podcast, Verdict with Ted Cruz. As you know, I do every week a podcast. The podcast is called Verdict with Ted Cruz. We do it every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Campaign Legal Center and End Citizens United allege the most reasonable and logical inference to be drawn from these circumstances is that Cruz requested or directed, and iHeartMedia agreed that iHeartMedia would transmit these funds to the Truth Encouraged PAC, which would then use the funds to support Cruz's candidacy. The complaint also accuses Truth Encouraged of misreporting the funds it received from iHeart, stating that the money should have been reported as contributions rather than other federal receipts. No big deal. The complaint claims that iHeartMedia's revenues from ad sales are the corporation's funds, and whenever it transmits those funds to Truth Encouraged, it has made a contribution to Truth Encouraged, and that Truth Encouraged is required to report accordingly. There is a reason why federal candidates are legally prohibited from using soft money, that is, money raised outside the scope of federal election law. This type of funding risks putting the priorities of wealthy special interests above everyone else and makes our political process more vulnerable to corruption. Ted Cruz is annoying, and I cannot imagine listening to him 3 times a week, but people do. And his show isn't just a platform for him to get publicity in a safe space where he can control the narrative without a reporter fact-checking him. It is a major revenue stream with advertising dollars going to the PACs that support his efforts.
You know, the eclipse put parts of the country into total darkness for 2 minutes. If you re-elect me, I will put the entire country in the dark ages forever. All aboard the dum-dum train. Let's go.
This is really cool.
I feel if I had it my way, we would have impeached him a long time ago. Actually, if I had it my way, we would have been successful in our objection on January 6th, and he wouldn't even be president. I'm getting better, though. We'll get there. So,
Hi, my name's Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I'm an insurrectionist. There's your pipe bomber. I mean, the veil was thin before, but they aren't hiding it anymore. Where Marjorie is usually with a personal trainer in the parking lot behind CrossFit, she's with a box of books. And here's Tucker Carlson discussing Marjorie's failed book launch. Good evening, I'm Tucker Carlson, and tonight I want to talk about the plot to cancel a book without a plot. Huh? What is that about? It's about Marjorie Taylor Greene, who released an autobiography, and she's avoiding using the term autobiography because her Eyes Too Close Together fan base would assume that it's the life story of Cars. But it doesn't matter if the words are big or very small, because nobody is talking about the book. In fact, it's at the very bottom of Amazon's bestseller list at 9,805. Oh no, Jeff Bezos is suppressing MTG with his space lasers to zap the rankings of conservative authors. Amazon is favoring liberal authors, and it's not fair. It's not right. I haven't finished MTG, but if there's a picture of her feet in it, then it would be certainly scarier than anything Stephen King could write. I'm sure many people, the real American people, the patriots who love this country, would find it interesting to learn the struggles of Marjorie Taylor Greene and discover how her wealthy businessman father, Robert Taylor, pretty much handed his multi-million-dollar company, Taylor Commercial, to Greene and her then-husband, crowning them president and vice president on paper, enabling her to collect paychecks and moderate a right-wing conspiracy theory Facebook group while attempting to open a CrossFit gym. Truly an incredible story of the American dream. But nobody is buying this page-turner. Why is that? Thank you. I see every tip from pennies to dollars. They are hugely appreciated and help make this show possible. If you love what I do here and you can afford to help out, throw me a buck with the PayPal link in the pinned comment or drop me a super thanks with this button. We don't want more Joe Obama. MAGA Tears. Mike Lindell has been persecuted by the left unfairly. Trump 2024. MAGA Tears. Hey Tommy, try harder. MAGA Tears. Ted Cruz is in hot water again, and this time it's not with Lauren Boebert. Ted Cruz is in hot water again, and this time it's not with Lauren Boebert in the jacuzzi at the Fairfield Inn and Suites by Ted Cruz is in hot water again, and this time it's not with Lauren Boebert in the jacuzzi at the Fairfield Inn and Suites by Marriott Denver Airport. Oddly specific. Amazon is favoring liberal authors, and it's not fair. It's not right. I haven't finished MTG, but if there's a picture of her feet in the middle, then it would be scarier than anything Stephen King could write. It's about Marjorie Taylor Greene, who released an autobiography, and she's avoiding saying the term autobiography because her Eyes Too Close Together fan base would assume that it's a life story about cars, enabling her to collect paychecks and moderate a right-wing conspiracy theory group while attempting to open a CrossFit gym. I can't think of her exercising without laughing. It's so ridiculous. Campaign spokesperson Macarena Martinez. I'm not making that name up. Campaign spokesperson Macarena Martinez. Is that her real name? Guess so. Do the Macarena. Marjorie Dog the Bounty Hunter Taylor Greene is promoting her worst-selling book, published by Don Jr.'s company and printed in Canada. Hey, when you're done with that cardboard box, be sure to save it for Mike Lindell. Man's gonna need a home. Thanks for watching. Please stick around and check out another one of my videos. Say hello in the comments. Find my stand-up on Spotify, streamed by millions, and add me on Facebook and Instagram. It all helps. Be cool, be kind, take care.